love how people are telling me I'm like 9 years old. I'm 11, so shut the fuck up.
It's time to escape, but I don't know where the fuck I'm headed. Up or down, right or left, life or death.
Okay, take that down. Welcome to the Legend of Korra video game review panel. Today we are reviewing the Legend of Korra video game. It's a great time to be a Korra fan, with 3 full seasons ready to watch and the 4th one just wrapping up, not to mention the new video game for all generation gaming platforms. Now when it comes to a TV show licensed game like this, I don't expect it to hold up to the same standards as, let's say, Shadow of Mordor or Batman Arkham Origins, as Captain America at IGN would have you do. How could you expect it to compete on that level for a budget value of just $15 a game, compared to $60 a game plus $30 for the season pass content that should already be included? So in the interest of keeping on par with IGN's questionable standards, we will rank this game based on the same level as Black Flag and Batman Arkham Origins. Then we will take into account the price point, the customer base, which will most likely be the fans, and the Call of Duty free point of view. I'm going to say right off the bat, recommending this game to any casual player who is not a fan of the show, has never seen the show, would be a big no. If I can make you take away one thing from this video, it would be, if you're going to start to play the game, play it on casual. So let's start off with the bad parts of the game. First off, it starts slow. The first level or two, you start out with minimal bending or no bending. I find this a problem since the game is obviously promoting replay value with the extreme mode rewards, but most of the buyers of this game are probably highly unlikely to replay it. Not providing enough in the initial first levels really brought the game down a peg. The combat system is rather clunky. While I'm not nearly the best gamer in the world, normal mode, for my point of view, should play smooth, and it should provide a good initial experience for replay. The chi blockers have only 2 attacks. One's a slow punch, which is easier to counter, and then the other one's about a 0.5 second roundhouse kick, which is almost impossible unless you have super cat-like reflexes. You know, with the new Halo game coming out, this game really brought out in me some indescribable rage, and I can just not describe to you. Now that I've had the chance to calm down, I digress. While failing to learn from the Batman Arkham Origins, as all the other games have, multiple enemies can attack you at once, breaking easy combos. If you manage to get a good flow going, you are still forced to counter. And then you have to deal with the push button animation, which you have to do over and over again, and it really takes away from the fighting. With only one animation for the counters, it becomes really boring fast. With only one real boss fight, replaying 8 chapters seems more like a burden than a privilege. And now, this.
Don't worry, we'll figure something out.
Easy for you to say. You don't have my poll numbers. 8% approval? Who are they asking?
The Avatar has failed humanity.
It's like this girl only used her power to oppress us!
What is wrong with you?
Of all the avatars I've worked with, you're by far the worst. I know that's only one other avatar, but still.
You are merely a half-baked avatar in training.
But I can't stand you being so pathetic and getting your butt kicked all the time.
You're the worst avatar ever.
You really are the worst avatar ever.
Let's get to the good parts of the game. Korra. We all love her, don't we? We love the Last Airbender show, and we love the Legend of Korra. Like all great animes, though, we hate to see them end. For hardcore fans, we want nothing more than to immerse ourselves in the world and drink a cup of tea with Uncle Iroh. While the combat system surely has its shortcomings, the animations are still great looking and fun. What the beginning of the game lacks, the last 2 chapters definitely make up for it, giving you that Legend of Korra chill that can run down your spine and leave you wanting more. The side games were a real welcome and didn't feel forced. The Naga temple runs were a good twist, and had a lot of value. I was most happy to see the costume addition to the game. While the first two weren't great, I was still interested to see what the other two look like. Even though, before I wrote this review, I have seen the last two costumes and they're not great, but they do provide a reason for players to keep going, because I initially really wanted the costumes. Okay, so despite there being only one real boss, his design was shocking and very well done. I could not think of a better design for an endgame boss. Adding to him several animations and different counters made him really a challenge, which made the ending all that more satisfying and dramatic. So on a side note, I would like to say that the graphics were exactly what I'd expect from a $15 game. Nothing wrong and definitely not an eyesore. The camera motion while failing a few times, but set on a smooth and easy ride for the whole game. Once again, I would like to suggest that all first-time players play on casual. Now, let's give the game a rating. Starting first with the story. The story doesn't carry much of the way through the game. It's definitely not what keeps you playing it. It adds no real value to the TV series itself. For me, this was a fail to the fans. With only succeeding to have a real story in 2 chapters, the story gets a 1 out of 10. The combat system. Clunky, but the elemental binding has decent animations and makes switching through them and creating different combos on the screen quite enjoyable. For this, we'll give a 4 out of 10. Graphics. Remember, we're keeping IGN standards here, so we're going to give the graphics a 2 out of 10. Extras. Providing costumes and extra game modes is really nice. There's a few game modes that I did not go over in the review, but you can check out the walkthrough. There's about 2 to 3 extras. And even though they didn't have too much to them, I can't really give them a high score because most of them do fail to keep you really entertained. So we'll give this a 2 out of 10. The ending. Endings are very important to me for a game. They gratify all the playtime I just put into it. So games that fail to have a satisfying ending really fail to me. And no matter what anybody says about this game, the ending was phenomenal. So we're going to give this a 5 out of 10, with an overall score of 2.8. But wait, that's just the IGN Black Flag standard. We still have to give it a real rating. So if we adjust for price and fan base, this game scores a solid 7. For all fans of The Legend of Korra, you'll definitely get some nice playtime out of this, as long as you start on casual. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review.